Yeah. So for the purposes of payment of wages, right? So as per the existing provisions of the Payment of Wages Act, existing definition for the term wages, for the example which we are seeing now, the wage portion will work out to 15,000 because conveyance is excluded. If you go through the definition of the term wages under the Payment of Wages Act, the conveyance allowance or the traveling allowance or the traveling concession, it is excluded already. So I have not taken into account that 3,000. So balance is 15,000. So if we apply the current definition of the term wages under Payment of Wages Act, the gross salary here would be 15,000, right? But as per the code, in fact, we saw conveyance allowance is not excluded for the purpose of payment of wages as well as for the purpose of equal remuneration. So we have to include that. So for the as per the code, for the same salary structure, the monthly gross salary would work out to 18,000, right? So this is the difference. Again, may not be this may not have much impact because see whether it is 15,000 or 18,000. Again, both these maybe persons will continue to be governed by the provisions of the Payment of Wages Act. Otherwise, there is not going to be much impact on that. But the quantum of salary for the purpose of payment of wages will differ. So that is the crucial point. And when it comes to the question of minimum wages, under minimum wages also the conveyance allowance, it is excluded. When I say conveyance allowance, it's the real conveyance. So it is I have excluded that, right? So the balance is 15,000 in the example which we are seeing. Now, as per the new definition, both HRA is excluded and conveyance is excluded. So both are excluded, which means for the same structure, the quantum for the purposes of minimum wages will work out to 12,000. So that is the difference between the existing one and the new one if when implemented, right? Now, the other point which we may have to ensure is since the salary quantum works out to be 12,000, we have to ensure that this 12,000 is more than the minimum rates of wages prescribed for that person. Assume that this structure is this payment is salary payment is made to person A, right? For his nature of employment, we may have to ensure the minimum rate of wages prescribed is either 12,000 or less than 12,000. In that situation, this structure is okay, right? If it is more than 12,000, then I think this is a simple salary structure. I am just giving how the quantum will differ for different purposes. For equal remuneration, I think even currently, the definition for the term wage is very, very wide. It says it is basic wage and all other remuneration. So we have to include everything. So currently also it is the entire 18,000 will be treated as part of wages for the purpose of equal remuneration. And once the code gets implemented, even then it will continue to be 18,000. Because for the purpose of equal wages, equal remuneration also, those four allowances, D, F, G, H, they are not excluded like for payment of wages. So entire gross wage we have to take into account for consideration. For the purpose of payment of bonus, we will consider currently only 12,000. We will exclude HRA, we will exclude conveyance. So we will consider only 12,000, right? And once the code gets implemented, then also the wage will work out to 12,000. Since it is more than 50% of the total remuneration, this is fine, right? So this can be accepted. And the payment of gratuity, same thing. Currently 12,000. As per the code also, this will work out to 12,000. For the purpose of PF, currently again 12,000 because we will exclude HRA, we will exclude conveyance allowance. So basic works out to 12,000. So 12,000 is the quantum on which the PF contributions are to be made. Once the code gets implemented, then also it is going to be 12,000. So for this particular salary structure, for which we have taken as an example, I think there are no much changes with respect to equal remuneration, payment of bonus, payment of gratuity, PF. That is how it is. And in case of ESI, interesting, there is a change here because for ESI, we will consider the entire gross currently, right? So we may have to consider ESI, basic, HRA, but we will exclude conveyance allowance. If it is a true conveyance, then that is getting excluded for the purpose of ESI. So the amount will be 15,000 when we apply the current provisions under the ESI Act for the definition of the term wages as the third term is defined under section 222 of the ESA Act. But once the code gets implemented, HRA will get excluded, conveyance allowance will also get excluded, right? In which case basic alone will be considered for purpose of ESI. So the quantum of wages for the purpose of ESI in this example would be 12,000 instead of 15,000, which means this could work to the advantage of the employers. So it is sufficient if they make the contributions only on 12,000 instead of 15,000. And since the 12,000 is more than 50% of the all remuneration, this is also considered to be in line with however it is, the term is defined under the code, right? So this is clear. Compliance is very clear, right? Then when it comes to the question of maternity benefit, entire gross salary 18,000, it is considered as wages, right? As per the current provisions under Maternity Benefit Act. But once the code gets implemented, the quantum of wage will differ because again HRA is excluded, conveyance is excluded, so only 12,000 remains. So if the same salary structure continues, so instead of 18,000, it is sufficient if the employer pays 12,000. So again, this will work. This can financially work out to the advantage of the employers. And with respect to employees' compensation, again, conveyance allowance is excluded as per the current definition. Conveyance allowance is excluded. So balance 15,000, yes, that is to be considered as wages. And but if we apply the new definition under the code, both conveyance and HRA both are excluded, so the quantum will get reduced to 12,000. So in case if some compensation is to be worked out, now it is sufficient if the employers work it out on 12,000 instead of 15,000. So there can be a slight reduction in the quantum of compensation. So that can again also work for the to the advantage of the employers. But here, with respect to the employers' compensation, irrespective of the quantum of salary, if it goes beyond 15,000, there is a ceiling currently which is 15,000 available for doing the calculation. So if the salary goes beyond 15,000, it is sufficient if the employer works out the compensation, assuming that the salary is only 15,000, restricting the salary to 15,000. So this is how the quantum of wage will vary for different purposes for the example which we have taken. So again, clearly, it's a very simple structure, but the wage portion worked out to more than 50%. Now, the same quantum, the total remuneration remains the same, 18,000, but wage portion, it works out to less than 50%. Let us see how it gets applied for different purposes again. So 6,000 is the basic, which means again, it works out to only 33.3% of the total remuneration of 18,000. So which is very much less than the 50%, right? HRA, conveyance and commission total comes to 12,000. So all these excluded portion quantum works out to 66.6%, right? Let us see how it works out.